Greetings everyone, today I welcome you to a new video. Now, before we begin, and first off, with our disclaimer, I do not own any art shown in this video. I do not own any music shown in or any of my in this or any of my other videos. I do not own any animes such as all of Shonen Jump, as in One Piece, Naruto, Demon Slayer, MHA, My Hero Academia, JoJo's, Dragon Ball, Hunter x Hunter, you get the idea. I do not own any artwork, like pictures, paintings, or any of that shown in this video. The only thing I truly own is my voice and the story itself. So without any further ado, roll the intro. Greetings. And today I bring you a tale of misfortune, of power, of ancient power, of other worlds, and of light and dark, and of course, dragons, and maybe a yandere or two. But that's for later. For now, we must begin with our story. But before we begin, and we must begin at the beginning of the beginning. In another world, there was a very powerful man. A man named Robert D. Teach, also known as Blackbeard and Blackbeard. Blackbeard wielded the power of a mystical fruit, the dark, dark fruit. It allowed him to turn into, control, and create darkness at will. This also allowed him to basically be a living black hole, as he was able to devour entire people, islands, and even other devil fruit users. However, in this world, things go different from the original world. Blackbeard did not want the Goro Goro no Mi, despite it being a power extremely great. Instead, he sought after a power that would make him go, and that would make him go from the strongest dark devil fruit user to the strongest in the world. 2 powers to be exact, as his legendary fruit gave him the capability to use 3 fruits. And so he gained an amazing idea. He and he alone would gain the power of gods. And so it began. His first mission, probably the easier one, was to get the sneak on the Admiral Kizaru. So he could then and bring Kizaru to his endless darkness. Kizaru, however, tried everything, even trying to blast through his darkness with his brightest light. However, Blackbeard's darkness was infused with his own haki and his own power. He had such great control over it that it was too powerful for even the brightest of lights to break through. And thus Kizaru was defeated. And Teach and Blackbeard gained the power of the Fruit of Light itself. Now he could run. Now not only could he move at the speed of light itself, which was an amazing feat, but he also had the power of darkness and light on his side. Now it was after the final piece of the puzzle. He needed to gain the power of a dragon. Kaido, as he believed that Kaido's insane durability was because of his fruit. And to this day, not many know if his fruit is the cause or isn't the cause of his insane durability. Either way, it probably helps a lot. Anywho. Kaido was simply eating, getting drunk, basically being an old man. And basically being a, Jiraiya or male Tsunade. Yeah. Male Tsunade fits the bill a bit more here. He was extremely drunk. Too drunk to realize. And he was so drunk, in fact, that he blacked out. When he woke up, it was revealed that he was now he was now being consumed by an immeasurably growing darkness. He tried fighting, however, it was no use, as he was then devoured within the eternal, endless pitch black. And so, the all-powerful warrior himself, Kaido, the man who could not be killed, was defeated using the means of a devil fruit. It was a truly great victory for Blackbeard, and thus he had gained a power so great it allowed him to contend with the most ridiculous power in the world. However, even with his new great powers, Luffy, his relative, was able to defeat him. However, when he died, instead of the three fruits reincarnating separately, something mysterious happened. As when he was alive, a certain doctor known as Dr. Vegapunk, wanted to test the abilities and capabilities of Blackbeard's newfound fruits. And then he got the idea. What if we were able to find a way to keep all three fruits combined as if to create a new fruit? Dr. Vegapunk then put all of his time and research into this theory, and he found a way. In theory, it would keep the three essences it would keep three of the essences of the three separate devil fruits intact, while the three devil fruits themselves would still reincarnate. However, in the place of where, well, that that small cluster of genes and DNA from the three other fruits. Roots would be an entirely different fruit. It would be the ultimate creation and ultimate weapon, Dr. Vegapunk thought. And so he tested him, and so he decided to use his research on Blackbeard himself. However, what he was not expecting was what he was not expecting, however, was during their battle of Blackbeard and Luffy. A mysterious occurrence would happen. It would seem as if a tear in the dimensions was created from the strike of all of Luffy's power and all of Blackbeard's power. Suddenly, from the large amount of pull from the crack in dimensions, and Blackbeard being basically out of energy. At that point, his very soul would be the fruit itself, or what was left of it. Basically, what would happen is that, the dimensional tear would sort of affect his devil fruit, also known as his dark fruit itself. But all the other three, while at the same time removing any and all. You see, the dimensional tear was so unstable and so destructive that it was not only removing any and all weaknesses from the three devil fruits, but also it was removing the darkness. It was removing the three devil fruits entirely from Blackbeard's body. Well, not the three devil fruits entirely. At first, yes, it removed the three devil fruits. The first, however, was the dark fruit, which, that was not good for Blackbeard. He could not handle the amount. His body could normally, without the power of the dark fruit, could not handle the power of the other two. Of the Pika Pika no Mi, and the Uo no Mi, mythical model Seiryu. And so his body was destroyed, atomized even. The three fruits reincarnated, however, the parts of the fruits which were absorbed by the dimensional portal and by the dimensional tear were brought to another world, and thus combining with the dimensional tear's energy, created a new fruit. This fruit was unknown, but it would be found within a temple of monks, who would then call it the Yin and Yang fruit, as they believed that whoever were to eat this fruit, they believed that this fruit was far more greater than the chakra fruit, or the God fruit, or the Shinju fruit, which was upon the Shinju, or God tree. As this fruit itself seemed to represent yin and yang, or body and spirit, they saw it as a sign from the gods, and so they locked the fruit away, of course, not knowing what it was capable of. They didn't know if it was poisonous, if whoever ate it would be punished by the gods. They didn't know. So, they locked the fruit away and made it forbidden. However, nearly 5,000 years later, a great tragedy has happened. As the people were, as the monks and their descendants were dead, long gone, their temple was destroyed and forgotten. The box was old and dusty and moved, of course, as many merchants would find the box and try to open it, but none could, as the box would require a very complex key to discover. As no one could open the box, so they simply left it in the middle of the forest. One day, a wandering Uzumaki had found the box. And so, she brought it all the way to the Hidden Leaf village and brought it into the Forest of Death. However, she did not bring it into the temple or outpost, or tower within the Forest of Death. Oh no, she hid it deep within the ground. She hid it deep within the forest, underground, where nearly no one would find it. Until Naruto Uzumaki, of course. Until Naruto Uzumaki, of course. Naruto was not nine-tailed Jinchuriki. However, he did have the markings from birth, as his mother was its former Jinchuriki. His sister and brother, on the other hand, were the Jinchuriki of the fox, and they lied, saying that Naruto held the spirit or soul of the fox, despite the fact that Kushina herself had the soul of the fox sealed inside of her in order to somewhat keep her alive. The soul of the fox would repeatedly laugh at her and berate her for being so selfish that she would literally let one of her children be beaten just to protect her and her other two. What a shame. What do I mean by this? Well, Kushina and Minato, Naruto's parents, would lie and say that Naruto was the host of the Nine Tails' soul and chakra, and therefore that he was the main source of all of their problems. This enraged the villagers, who beat the boy over and over and over. His own parents and siblings despised the boy as well. And so, one day, trying to run away from bullies and villagers, this day being his 5th birthday, Naruto would run away into the Forest of Death. However, while no one followed him simply because they thought he's going to die, he in fact did not. Thought my cat puked on me. In fact, he had found a way to survive in the forest. Eventually, however, he was running from some wild animals and fell in a hole, a deep one. And there he saw it, an old, dusty, broken box with an old symbol on it. He tried opening the box, and at first it was jammed a bit, but Naruto punched the box with as much strength as his tiny 5-year-old body could handle and could use. The box suddenly sprang open, revealing deep within a fruit of power unmatched. A mysterious fruit which seemed to glow with an aura only Naruto could see. He saw a white and black flame surrounding the fruit itself. It was almost begging to be eaten. Naruto, being hungry and starving, grabbed the fruit and devoured it. He noticed that it tasted like, how could he put his finger on it? On one point, it tasted like the best thing he had ever eaten. On the other, it tasted like the worst thing he had ever eaten. But, ironically, that was the same exact thing. As the only thing Naruto would eat, or could eat, was old, stale ramen packets. With old, stale ramen leftovers. Naruto, being hungry, devoured the fruit whole. And then noticed something strange. His body began to emanate this strange aura. His hair began to change as well. His hair became pure white. As his marks became much more defined. Naruto basically looks like this. Except, well, like a 5-year-old. Naruto then stayed in that forest for another total of 5 more years. No, 7 more years. Naruto trained his body up to its possible peak, mastering nearly every single technique his body could do. He created his own style of martial arts, and even on accident discovered powers of the fruit he had eaten. He discovered he held the innate ability to turn his body into either light or darkness, as well as transform into two, yes, I said it, 2 beasts. He could turn himself into a pure white dragon with glowing yellow and with glowing golden or yellow eyes, whereas the other part would also turn into a black dragon with yellow or golden eyes. Now you're probably thinking, well, the black one obviously has the power of darkness, and the white one has the power of light, right? Not quite. You see, as Yin and Yang goes, Yin is mainly darkness with a small amount of light, showing it has potential to become light, whereas Yang or Yang has the potential to become dark. Thus, the two forms Naruto transformed into, he called Yin and Yang. Yin was the black dragon. However, it wielded the power of light. It could turn itself into light at any point in time. It could control and create light as well as move at the speed of light. It was also extremely powerful, as it could be used to create actual objects out of a sword and hardened light. An amazing ability, whereas the other held the ability to turn into, create, and control darkness. It held the power to also devour items, people, and places. It was a truly remarkable fruit. As we see 12-year-old Naruto living in the Forest of Death, and then he hears people running around. He looks and sees that these are ninjas battling with weapons in his forest. Naruto then turns his entire body into light in order to, get a fast edge on the intruders or visitors. Turning his body into nothing but light, Naruto zooms across the entire forest, getting a nice camera angle getting a nice view of surveillance on his guests. He sees that they are in some sort of training exam. A pity, as Naruto does not know why humans, yes, he calls them humans, as Naruto himself does not associate himself with the human race, as what he remembers of them is they were evil and tortured him when he was younger. Now he has a plan to get rid of these interlopers. Naruto appears from the darkness to attack some ninja teams and attack some human groups. First, he turned in his entire body into nothing but light, and then attacks from behind, turning and creating weapons out of light, like blades and simple beams of light. As the ninja are no match for Naruto, even his martial arts skills severely outclass theirs. As Naruto then pulls out a katana made out of a fusion of both light and dark. As he calls it, the Blade of Balance. In his own words, it is a weapon he created as a prototype of both dark and light, to see what would happen. Somehow he was able to cause both to merge together into a simple whole state. And so, Naruto attacked with this blade. Its attacks were extremely devastating, as not only was the blade extremely fast, but it was also, extremely dark, as it held the ability to absorb anything or devour anything it touched by simply covering it and sucking it basically into an endless black void. Naruto was feared for this group, was feared among the animals in the jungle for his great powers and prowess, as well as his martial arts. His physical strength was also nothing to laugh at, as Naruto was able to pick up entire trees as in ginormous trees which you could build entire civilizations on with ease, and he could throw them out of orbit with his human strength alone. As we go to a certain group of humans, Team 7, they are Menma. They are Menma, Mito, Sasuke, and Sakura. They are jumping around in this darkness. They are not the darkness. They are jumping around in this forest, trying to find a team with a Earth scroll. As they're looking around, when suddenly they see a blinding flash of golden light, and then it disappears. Sasuke, however, was able to use his Sharingan, which, wouldn't you know it, has reached its second stage. Sorry, not second, has reached its third stage. 3 Tomoe. Sasuke just barely was able to see what the others could not. He could see someone standing right there, and then the light and then the person turning their body into light and running away. He thought it must have been one of the techniques or jutsu of the other or village teams or groups. That was until they were attacked by what could only be guessed as a man made completely of darkness. As Naruto turned his entire body into nothing but a void of darkness, with glowing white eyes. He walked through the forest, and whatever he was touching was basically absorbed into his endless void. As he then said in a terrifying voice, "What are you doing in my forest?" As he then turned half of his body into pure light and blasted towards Team 7, who could barely dodge. As Sakura was grabbed by Naruto, he then said, "You are given one choice. You are given a choice. Either leave this forest and never return, or perish in the eternal darkness that is my body." Sakura then said never, as she then pulled out a kunai and tried to stab Naruto. However, it simply fell within his void of a body, never to be seen again. As he then said, "Do you really think that would hurt?" As he then said, "You know what? I want to have fun with you for some reason. I feel like all of you deserve it." As he then turned his body from darkness and light back into normal. As he then said, Welcome to my home." Or should I say, welcome to the jungle. As Naruto then ran at them at the speed of light, by turning only his feet into light. As he then rushed at them and spawned a blade made completely of light. He then charged at the ninja. Sasuke then used a powerful fireball jutsu to try and burn Naruto. However, he simply turned his entire body into light and manipulated the way his body was, creating a ginormous, leaving the fireball simply left a ginormous hole in his body, as he simply laughed and said, wow, fire powers. Nice. That's quite interesting, huh, human? As he then said, I bet you can't beat me, though. As he then as he then turns his palm, and as he then turns his right hand, and only his right hand, into pure darkness, as out of it appears a absolutely ginormous and insane amount of nothing but blades, aids, and weapons which he has absorbed from over the years. As he then said, wow, you are really, really fun. I hope you survive my blade barrages, as he kept blasting out insane amounts of blades, as Team 7 had no choice but to try and dodge. Of course, they couldn't dodge every attack. In fact, they were hit by quite a lot. As Sasuke then thought, is this what that instructor said when they said that we die here? No, it can't be. As Naruto screaming and as Sasuke screaming in rage would then launch a large blast of nothing but pure fire, trying to burn Naruto. But of course, like last time, it would simply blast through Naruto, leaving a ginormous hole. And then his body, which was turned entirely into light, would then simply reform. As he then say, is that the best you got? As Naruto would then turn his entire body into nothing but darkness, as then for a moment, he felt his body stop. As he then saw a Anbu from above, a Nara, began using the shadow manipulation jutsu, trying to manipulate his body. As Naruto then said, that is quite the annoying ability, huh? Shadow manipulation? I am not shadow, I am pure darkness! As Naruto's entire body turns into a ginormous lake of darkness which clouds the entire forest. As he then absorbs the entire forest into his black darkness, sinking all of the trees and people within. As then Naruto's body returns to normal, as he then said, what goes up must, and as he then said, what goes up, as he then turned his top half of his body into a black void, and then blasted out of that void every single part of the forest and person that he had absorbed, blasting everything up, as he then said, must come down, as then gravity would take effect, blasting absolutely everyone away and blasting absolutely everyone onto the ground. The trees would be either upside down, sideways, or bent and broken in thousands of different ways. As Naruto was simply giggling like a like a maniacal child. As he then said, as Naruto would then say, You're quite some funny humans, huh? But you're also very weak. A shame. I really thought I'd get to play with some fun humans this time. that that one dude I thought was pretty fun. that dude had those same red eyes as you. He came in here trying to escape the village. And he came in here for some reason. He had these red eyes and weird lines on his face. I of course got the jump on him. But he didn't but he escaped, but not without a little reminder of what happened here. As Naruto would then continue giggling like a maniac. As Sasuke would then say, You've met Itachi? As Naruto would then say, was that his name? I don't know. He had a weird metal thing on his head, and it had a slash across it. The man came through here for a couple of months actually, in and out. At first, I just simply let him pass, but as I left simply as I simply left a broken tree as a warning. However, he kept doing it, and so I had no choice but to intervene. He escaped, but not without a little reminder. As Naruto would then turn his palm, and only his palm, into darkness as he'd pull out of it a single Sharingan. As Sasuke would then say, "That's my brother's eye." Tell me what happened. Tell me which way he went, and I might spare your life. Sasuke said, unaware of how powerful this man was, the boy in front of him was. Naruto then said, were you just talking like that to me? Meanie. As he then said, you're an idiotic meanie, and I'm going to put you in your place. As suddenly Naruto's body would split in half, one half of his body turning into nothing but pure darkness, the other half turning into nothing but pure light. The half which had turned into pure darkness elongated and sprang upward into the heavens. Then the half which had turned into nothing but pure light elongated as well and blasted into the heavens. As clouds and storm clouds began forming above of everyone and above the forest. In fact, above the entire Leaf Village. No, above the entire land of fire. As from out of the clouds appeared one entirely black dragon with golden eyes and gold horns, and on the other was an entirely white dragon with golden eyes and golden horns. The two dragons seemed to both have the same consciousness and not, as they were capable of doing things different from the other. Instead of doing the same exact thing, like they were controlled by a hive mind of some sort. As the two dragons would then begin blasting attacks, as the black dragon would then open its mouth, revealing a large beam of nothing but golden light, which struck the ground and began eviscerating everything in its path. The white dragon opened its mouth and blasted out a dark beam of nothing but pure darkness, which consumed everything in its path. The two dragons then chased after the Gin, and after all of the Genin and ninja within the forest. As the two dragons weren't really attacking, more like playing with the ninjas and with the humans. That was until a man with white hair and a single red eye appeared. The man then said, "And what the heck is that?" As Sasuke would then say, "I don't know, Sensei. What could it be?" As Kakashi then said, "I do not know." It appears as if someone is using some sort of jutsu. Maybe a transformation or a summon. As Naruto would then blast towards Sasuke and Kakashi, as the two dragons would then speak in the same voice at the same exact time. As they then say, what are you humans even doing in my forest, huh? This is my forest, my home. Leave and never return. Otherwise, you will end up like the man with scarlet red eyes. As Sasuke would then say, he attacked Itachi, and Itachi barely survived. Whoever this man is, whoever this person is, or whatever they are, they have immense power that must be mine. As Sasuke then ran towards Naruto with a kunai in hand and fire jutsu at the ready. However, and Chidori at the ready. As he was preparing to attack Naruto, who then as he launched a very powerful fireball at one dragon and a very powerful Chidori at the other. However, to his surprise, both attacks simply passed through the dragons, as then their bodies would reform. As the two dragons would begin flying around, the white one would begin moving at somewhat fast speeds, as the black one would begin moving at light speed, bouncing all across the forest, causing nothing but destruction and mayhem in its wake. As everyone had no choice but to leave. As Sasuke would then say, What's that thing? It must be some sort of summon creature. Whatever it is, I must have it. It's powerful. It could even be powerful enough to defeat Itachi. And it was even powerful enough to defeat Itachi, who is extremely powerful. As we see Kakashi in the room in the Hokage's office, as he then says, there was a problem with the Chunin exams. No one could even complete the first part, as there was some sort of beast or creature that attacked. It appeared to us in the form of two dragons. However, according to your children and Sasuke, who are singing a completely different tune, it appeared to them first in the form of a boy with white eyes, white hair, and 6 defined markings upon his face. It was also in white robes, as if he was some sort of god. As Minato would then say, oh bother. Alright, prepare for, alright. I and our strongest Onin will, the Anbu, and our strongest Jonin will walk. The Anbu, our strongest Jonin, and Jiraiya will investigate. As we go back to Naruto, who turns back into his normal form, as he then says, nothing better than silence and peace. However, little did Naruto know, watching from the darkness, watching from the sidelines, the darkness of existence, watching from the places Naruto couldn't see, was a being who desperately desired to claim Naruto as their own. Now question, who should be the ship for this video? Please leave your opinions in the comments and tell me how broken do you think Naruto is, and how broken do you think the Yin and Yang fruit is? On the brocometer, put 0 is basically weak as fuck. Like, weaker than a paramecia that would allow you to do nothing but elongate your nails. That's it, just elongate your nails. 10 being a fruit that could actually go against a fruit so powerful that if it was used to its fullest capabilities, could actually defeat Luffy in his strongest possible form. This includes the speculated Gear 6, but we have no idea if he will even get a new form, or if Gear 5, aka Nika Man, is going to be his final form. Anywho, I hope y'all have enjoyed this video. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. And if I have them, please click those notification bells if you want to. And, skadoosh.